Are lawyers ethically allowed to use AI tools like Claude? The answer depends a lot on the facts of your particular situation. How big is your firm? What Claude plan are you on? What are you uploading into Claude in the first place? I'm going to go over the differences between the Claude Pro and the Claude Teams plan in this video. And we're going to look at an American Bar Association opinion on generative AI and compare the different Claude plans under different factual scenarios and against ABA model rules. This is not legal advice, but I wanted to walk through some of the main differences that you might see between the different plans and show you where to look if you wanted to dive deeper and figure out what works best for your particular situation. If you take a look at my screen here, we can see that I'm on the Claude pricing page, and we've got three main options to access Claude. We've got individual, team and enterprise, and API. If you're a lawyer, you're probably not going to bother with API. The main decision you're going to make is, should I use individual or team and enterprise? You'll also notice that within team, you've got the option between team, which is something you can just self-serve yourself, and then there's enterprise. If you're at a smaller firm, as you can see here, that would be under 150. You're probably just going to go with team. So the main thing we're going to talk about is the difference between individual and team. Now, each of these versions give you access to Claude. You've got Claude in the web. You can use Claude Cowork, the desktop app, and even Claude Code outside of the free plan. But the main difference between team and individual is that all of the individual plans are going to be governed by the consumer terms of service. The consumer terms of service can be found right here, and I'm recording this video in July 2026, and the last update to the consumer terms of service appears to have been October 8th, 2025. And by the way, everything that I'm showing you here is going to be linked in the description of this video. One of the main sections you want to take a look at in the consumer terms of service is section 4, inputs, outputs, actions, and materials. And this clause right here, our use of materials, is very important to consider when you're looking at the consumer plan. By default in the consumer plan, Anthropic is going to train on your chats. That means that they not only are going to read what you send to them, but they're actually going to use the chats to improve the model. Now, obviously, with the American Bar Association's Rule 1.6 confidentiality, that's going to be a serious problem if you're uploading any client data or anything even remotely sensitive. Now, note right here that they do give you the option to opt out of training. I would actually recommend doing this even if you're not a lawyer. I don't think anyone really wants Anthropic to be able to train on their data. And let me show you how to actually do that. It's very easy. Just go to claude.ai, and then on the bottom left, you're going to see your user profile here. Click on that, and then click on settings, and then go into privacy, and then this toggle here, help improve our AI models. I know they like to phrase it like you're helping them, but honestly, you don't want this enabled under almost any circumstances. Make sure that this is toggled off. Otherwise, you are opting in to model training. Now, I should note that this does not completely protect you from Anthropic looking at your data. If you provide feedback, which I guess can sometimes happen if Claude asks you to provide a thumbs up or thumbs down, they will then be able to use your data. I haven't actually seen this happen in practice in a while. I don't know if Claude is still doing this, but regardless, I would tend to avoid providing any feedback whatsoever, and don't give them a thumbs up or a thumbs down, just click the X. And the other is if your materials are flagged for safety reasons. This one's a little harder to get out of. I don't really have anything to tell you other than just be careful about what you're uploading in the consumer plan. It is not the most confidential way to use Claude. In terms of pricing, I would definitely not use the free version, mainly because the pro version gives you access to better models, and you get to use Claude Code and Claude Cowork, which are available on the desktop app. The terms of service are not any different if you use the Max or the Pro plan, so just pick the Pro plan to get started, and if you need more usage, you can always upgrade. Now we're going to jump over to the team plan, and as you can see here, a team plan is for teams of 5 to 150. So what that means is if you're a solo and you want to get on the team plan, you actually have to buy 5 seats, and you can't just get one. They are only $25 a month per seat if you do monthly, or I guess $20 if you do annually, but it's still really annoying that you have to pay $125 just to get basic access. If you look here, the team version on the standard seat, each seat only gives you as much access as a single pro seat on the individual plan. And if you're a power user, you're almost certainly going to want a premium seat, and this makes it really annoying if you have less than 5 people, and especially if you're solo. But the Teams plan and the Enterprise plan get you on the commercial terms of service. The last update to the commercial terms of service, as you can see here, as of recording this video, was June 17th, 2025. One of the biggest benefits of the commercial terms of service over the consumer terms of service is this sentence right here, which says that Anthropic may not train models on customer content from services. So you actually get a contractual guarantee, not just the ability to opt out. You also do get access to the Anthropic Data Processing Addendum right here, which again, I'll link in the description of this video. Now, the American Bar Association has not put any outright ban on Claude. In fact, they published this opinion, Formal Opinion 512, on July 29th of 2024, going over how to use generative AI responsibly. Now, obviously, Rule 1.6 confidentiality is pretty important when considering generative AI for legal work. And if you just compare the individual plan and the Teams plan's commercial terms of service are materially better for confidentiality than the consumer plan. So if you're at a firm with 5 or more people that are going to use Claude, you might as well just go for the Teams plan if you're going to use it at all, because the terms are just better. And also you get a lot of nice things like the ability to manage an organization and overall just have everybody work together a lot more easily. If you're a solo, it's going to require a little bit more thought. There are other ABA rules that you might want to consider outside of just confidentiality. For instance, fees and competency. There is a credible argument, I think, to be made that a solo using Claude to the best of their ability can provide a lot better service to their clients for a lot cheaper and can still be reasonably confidential when they're using Claude. Another consideration, like I mentioned at the beginning, is what kind of content are you actually putting into Claude in the first place? If you're just using it to do legal research in the abstract and you're just putting in public opinions and other public docket items from public courts, your risk is generally going to be lower. If you're putting in PII from your clients and personal health information and more confidential types of data, your risk is going to go up regardless of which plan you're using. Obviously, you need to consider the facts of your own situation. And again, this is not at all legal advice. But one thing I'd recommend doing is pulling out your favorite AI agent, whether that's Claude, whether that's ChatGPT, especially if you already have the individual plan, and just throwing all of these primary sources into the context window. So literally copy and paste all this stuff, throw in the ABA opinions and the other rules, and walk through your situation with Claude or ChatGPT. It's able to do a really good job of parsing through this stuff and telling you what you might want to look out for. I'll also link you guys to this article that I wrote that's currently out on the Docket Drafter blog. It goes over all this stuff in detail and links to all the main primary sources. It's pretty detailed and honestly designed to be read by agents. I mainly wanted to do this just to compile all the main primary sources that are relevant for having this discussion. So feel free to point your favorite AI tool to this article and have it analyze it against your current situation.